on a serious note, I think you have to be very passionate about it. You really want to do it, and you have to be in it for the long run. You know, identify a professional in the industry. Okay. Work with them, even if you have to work for free, you know, get that experience, learn as much as you can so that you are actually better than that person when you get out of there, you know. You're going to pay your bills with that knowledge, you know, so see it in that light. Yeah, enjoy life, guys.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Sessions, a video podcast brought to you by Pro Studio, where we discuss an entrepreneur's business life and while we edit, some social media as well.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sessions. Today I am joined by Lila Swanepoel, a name that must be very familiar to most people in the Namibian film industry. Lila's going to help me out here, but as far as I can tell, she's not just a jack of all trades, she is the whole production team. She is a director, she is a videographer, a cinematographer, and a Namibian Theatre and Film Awards winning production designer working on both local and international features. Welcome, Lila.
Thank you, Jaco.
And a shout out to Now Cliff Water. Thank you for sponsoring our episodes. That's quite quite a title.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give away my age, but I've been working in the industry for a while. So
What's a while?
I think this year it's almost more than 20 years.
Jeez,
yeah.
Okay.
So I am Namibian, but I was based in South Africa for 17 years. So I worked in the film industry there, and then I'm like back now for 10 years back in Namibia.
Okay, cool. But then we can immediately jump into a bit of history about who you are, where you're from, how you actually started this career, the whole spiel.
Okay, I am from Windhoek. I was born here. Then I went to school in South Africa, in Uppington, high school Duineveld. And then I went to film school in Pretoria. Before the AFTA days.
Before the?
AFTA days.
Okay,
so, I went to film school in Pretoria, and then I started working in the industry there. My first job was in business television in Johannesburg.
Business television.
Yeah, it was very interesting. So we basically broadcasted it to like corporates. So we had a studio where not this cool setup, but it was back in the 90s. And then I started working in the film industry, in the art department.
Okay.
Worked myself up, art director. I did a lot of commercials, South African commercials. I did a lot of international commercials. I did Lord of War. I worked on. It was shot in Cape Town with Nicolas Cage.
Did you get to meet Nicolas Cage?
Yeah. No, we were. The whole movie was shot in studio, basically.
Okay.
So we worked very long hours for very little money at that stage because I was still like a assistant in the art department. And then I came back, and then I fell back into my camera work, more like video production.
Mm-hmm.
I have my own company, so I offer.
It's Lila Swanepoel Productions.
Yeah, Lila Productions.
Okay, Lila Productions.
So I work for myself. I basically shoot myself, edit myself, from concept to completion. I worked on Mad Max for a year. That was shot in Swakop. Also, I was a set dresser.
Geez, that had to be a hell of a project.
Yeah, I know. That was we went a bit crazy there. But that was, it's something that I don't think in my lifetime that I will ever get the chance to do again. So it was pretty epic. That's it.
Okay, now you're doing essentially everything, like you said, the cinematography, the planning, the design, and so on. Is that by choice, or is that because of a lack of options sometimes?
Yeah. I think when I started off, when I decided, let me start there. So when I decided to do what I do, was out of high school, and then I took that 1 year gap year. So for that year, I basically lied on my mom's couch watching movies and TV, and they were like, "Whoa, what's going on? Are you lazy? Why don't you get a job?" And then I decided, but this is what I want to do. Then I applied, and I was the only Namibian in that film school that actually studied film from Namibia. So that was pretty interesting. So when I decided I really wanted from the beginning to diversify and work in all areas of the whole medium, if I can call it that.
Yeah, because you first started with the whole business television and then moving on to that.
So I basically tried to qualify myself in all the different areas. And then I think I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I excelled, or I pushed myself to do well in all the areas that I worked in. So I think in Namibia there is a bit of lack of options, but I mean the industry is growing so fast now. I think for production design, I don't think there's a lot of scope for that. Or people that are trained in that.
Specifically Namibia now, right?
Yes, specifically Namibia. But I mean, it's growing. It's fantastic. I think also what's great is more women coming into the industry. I've always been a fighter for that to be possible, because it's such a male-dominated industry. So I encourage all females just to, get involved and start doing it.
Yeah, get into this medium.
Yeah.
Your studies, you said it was the University of Pretoria, or no? Pretoria?
No, the Tech.
Okay.
Technicon, yeah. So they had a film school. We were curated by Katinka Haynes, Leon van Nierop, those, legends in the South African industry. So it was we had very good lecturers. Your third year was practical, so then you basically had to work in the industry to get your qualification. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Regarding that, I actually want to know from you, university or film school versus practical application. Where do you honestly think you've learned the most?
Practical application. Yeah, I mean, if I can give anyone advice, is just get out there, start from the bottom. You really have to work hard, but that's the only way you learn. And Google.
And Google, yes.
Yeah, and watch tutorials. It's everything is there for you to learn.
So, would you say someone who really can't maybe afford to go to university,
yes,
they can still pick up a camera and do it if they just scout the internet because there's so much out there in any case?
No, it's so possible, but you have to have the drive, and you have to have the consistency to want to do it, and you have to learn the basics to be able to break the rules. So I think that's very important.
Lila,
yes.
So university, it's an expensive endeavor for anyone. How did you fund it? Mom and dad, pay yourself?
My parents paid for my studies, but that was it. So then I had to go out and literally, I'm going to say, work my ass off.
That's the spirit, yeah.
Like long hours. I mean, I think what I was paid for my first job was this German movie, low budget. I think I was paid 300 Rand, which is Namibian dollars, a day for like 12 plus hours.
Jeez, okay.
Yeah, so and I think what is also important, if you really want to do this, I mean, it's not easy. I think you can always say, if it's easy, everyone would do it. But I really persevered, and I bought my own equipment, stukkie for stukkie for stukkie.
We know that.
Lived on tuna and rice for months, because I wanted to get professional gear, and I just bit the bullet. I don't know even if that's but I just persevered and I paid everything off. And
So your choice was between having a delicious meal or eating the same shit over and over, and then rather buying equipment.
Yes, because
Okay.
I mean, you have to have the right tools.
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
But yeah, no mom or dad. I literally just worked and paid for my own equipment that I have today.
And then when you finished your studies, was it, no, actually still while you were studying, you said you had to do like a lot of work in between. Did you have to pay your own apartment and stuff? Okay. And the jobs you did, it was mostly working on films and advertising and so on.
Yes, yeah. No, I had to look after myself. I mean, I think, but that's also a plus point. So it makes you very like stable in a way. It makes you to be accountable for everything. And it also drives you to produce quality work, you know, because you have to stay in the game and you have to maintain a certain quality.
And especially if I look at all the different things that you have to do. I know this from my experience as well. You have to be the director, the cinematographer, you have to focus on so many things. Don't you think it's like if you burden yourself with so much responsibility, you actually start to think critically about things, you manage to actually handle a stressful situation way easier as opposed to when you initially did that?
Yes. I always say you don't know until you know. So hard lessons have been learned, but that's the only way that you become resilient in difficult positions. I mean, you know, there's like every shoot something happens, you know, and then I was like, shit, I should have worked in the bank or something, you know, but then...
Yes.
Yeah, like, but then it's so satisfying when you see the end product and you actually persevered and you pulled through, and it's a challenge, yeah.
It is a challenge. I think it's... before we started, you said you're a bit nervous because you're also used to being on the other side of the camera.
I don't do this type of thing.
It's very... I don't think people always understand like the back, what's going on behind the scenes with every production. And you mentioned now something that you've had a lot of different, you learned a lot of different lessons. Can you tell us a bit about some of the lessons you've learned?
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, the thing is, like what you said is, the thing is, for me, I've learned a lot of lessons. The thing is for me to not take failure as failure, you know. I think that's the first thing that, I mean, with our job, if you start like, you know, being hard on yourself and you failed and then you won't make it, you know. So you have to have a bit of a, you know, a backbone to say, okay, this didn't work, what can work, or how can I make it work, and not to give up, because I mean, that's not... we can't.
Exactly. No, we can't afford to.
No.
But that's the one thing I also want to ask. I think in our industry, there's a lot of criticism always coming. How do you deal with criticism?
Yeah.
Either good or bad?
Yeah. I think for what we do, you have to take criticism, good or bad. People will not always like what you do. I mean, there's jealousy, there's all of these things. But I think in the end of the day, if you focus on yourself and you focus on what you love to do, some people might like it and some people won't. You know, you can't take it personally. You have to take the bad criticism and make it better, because that's, you know, part of the job.
Can you tell me your first paycheck? Okay, you said you worked for the jobs you had to do to sustain yourself. That was merely to just get you through college.
Yes.
But like your first actual paycheck for a job that you did, what did you do with that money? And after like you bought equipment now and stuff, what did you do with your first paycheck? And you can tell us what job that was as well.
Yeah, I think that was my first job, business television job. And I think what I basically did is I think I filled up my car and I paid my rent, and then I think I drank a few beers with my buddies. Yeah, Priorities.
Priorities, definitely.
Yeah, so I think it was not very extravagant. Did the basics, yeah.
But and the first job you completed, was it also like, okay, I finally did this now.
Yeah.
I'm in it now.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like, because I was working in such a diversified, field.
Yeah.
So it's quite satisfying when you succeed. When you actually now know, okay, I can do camera work, I can do sound. I'm now a professional. So it's a satisfying job. It's not easy, but it's great. I mean, you would know.
And I agree with you on that. But is it South Africa as opposed to here?
Yes.
Is it way more shark world over there? Is it
Yeah.
easier to work here?
Yeah.
If you can explain the difference.
I think obviously the industry is much bigger, so you have to work harder to get, on to where you want to be. I think when I came back to Namibia about 10 years ago, it was still very small, the industry. But I also had to start once again from the bottom, so I just didn't walk in and got the great jobs. I had to start building my client base. I had to also work for a lot less, just to, you have to prove yourself. I think what is important for me is also just to note or to say that what I find these days is everyone in Namibia is a producer or a director or a camera person.
They own the title from the start.
Yes. I don't think that is possible. I think you have to get experience through working. And maybe what I can also mention is like, drop the ego a bit. We're not saving lives. We are only.
Can I just please applaud that, because that's.
Yeah.
I think that is personally one of the biggest challenges.
Yes. So we're not saving lives. You're only holding a camera. So just be humble. For me, it's very, very important.
Okay, we're definitely going to have another coffee after this
Yeah.
to talk about that a bit more.
Yeah.
But no, I totally agree with you. It's the same thing that will apply to any other job.
Yes.
I sometimes find that in our industry, it's not a very respected industry.
Yes.
Because people see you just as like, you need to provide the service.
Yes.
What's so difficult about it?
Yeah.
It's one guy who summed it up. It's actually a psychologist who said the creative industry is difficult because you essentially have to make something out of nothing.
Yes.
So
just go shoot something and quickly edit it. I watched this thing on Instagram the other day. It was this guy was like, they asked, why does it take you so long to complete your edits? And he's like, because it takes me 2 hours to look for the music, and then it becomes irritating. It's like, but I can give you the files, you can edit it. It's
Yes.
it is quite a process, and I think it's our responsibility to educate our clients, so that they know exactly what the process entails, so that they also know what the cost entails, why certain things cost so much. Because the other thing is and I hear this every single day, Lila, why are you so expensive? Then I'm okay. So I have to pay my rent. I have to pay, I have like every other person working. So there's nothing that differentiates us from normal, industries and I think people need to realize that,
Yeah, it is a profession which you studied for. You put in the hours, you put in the grind work to get to where you are. And it is, I agree with you that educating people to understand that, listen, I don't live in a magical cloud or on a magical cloud somewhere. Yeah. Actually wanted to, you said when you came back here, you had to essentially get a name, start over a bit and so on.
Yes.
You couldn't have been too selective about the jobs that came in. You took the jobs as they came in.
I took everything. I did filmed from events to, so I basically just did everything that I could. I think for up and coming young people, you have to put in the work. You know, you have to put in the work, and you have to respect people that has put in the work.
And respect the process.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people's like, I want overnight success.
No. No. Wrong industry.
But I mean, it's like you mentioned now, it's you've worked on Mad Max, you worked on Lord of War and so on. And that's the thing, it's you're in the background.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But you also prefer it that way, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I strive to stay humble, and I'm also only doing a job, you know. So I don't necessarily do these type of things, although I think marketing is important. But yeah, I mean, it's just a balance of everything, I think, always.
And that's getting to marketing now. That's I actually want to know how. It's Namibia. It's word of mouth. You know, people know because we've heard your name so many times when someone refers you. I heard your name yesterday when someone actually, when we put out a job.
Yeah.
How do you go about, besides word of mouth, how do you get your name out there, and the production companies and so on?
Yeah. So it's a very interesting conversation to be had. I had this with a fellow filmmaker the other day, you know. How do we evolve with the times that we are in? But I can personally say, because I am my own brand, you know, so I have to, it's extra pressure on me to continuously keep my standard high. And I am actually very bad I don't have a website. I'm very bad with social media. I hate hashtags, but I really, really, really try. But for me, and we had this conversation, it's word of mouth. You know, it's referrals, which is, I'm very fortunate for that. But I will get my website up soon, I hope.
I'm not going to lie to you. I did check out your pages a bit.
Yes.
So you are on Facebook, you're on Instagram and so on.
Yeah.
Have you gotten, when I say I checked out your pages, it's very personal what you post. It's your life, it's you on the road and so on.
Yeah.
And have you actually gotten work requests through your through your social media channels? No.
We also had this conversation, and the same with him. And he's got a website, he's got everything, and he's also like smaller, like I am, working for himself. And he has not gotten one request.
Really?
From his website or Facebook or Instagram. So it's also referral. So I think we're quite fortunate in Namibia that the industry is still smallish. So your name is important, I think.
Yeah, everybody knows each other. Yes. Everybody is a bit interlinked and so on.
Yeah.
Well, that's also like you said, the evolving industry. It's, especially now during these times as well, cinemas aren't really... People can't really enjoy the cinematic experience at the moment. Yeah. Your work, has it also shifted a bit more towards, let's call it the small screen for the time being?
Yeah. I just completed the Namibian Theatre's first online production last year. It's called Putin Sis. So that was quite interesting for me to do. So I also filmed it, and I did the post-production for it, and I did the production design for it, which was actually pretty cool because I could build my own set, which I then filmed, you know. And it was quite an interesting process because theatre is, you know, you feel it and it's alive. And just to be able to bring that across, you know, in like a online production. So I think the world is it's so much easier these days because you've got access to so much, but it also makes it more difficult in a sense, you know. You have so much access to everything, but also it puts a lot of pressure on you to stay with the times, you know. I always think like my parents, and you were like, when you were young, it was like, why are you so, you know, old-fashioned, and you know, you can't even type a SMS or what. And I'm slow, you know, you have to stay with the times.
Yeah, keep up with.
Yeah, but also with saying that, you also have to keep your quality, you know. So these days, and I find in Namibia, people don't really know what quality is, you know. So
We've got a couple of stories.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing, you know, to say, but you're paying for this type of production, and then someone else comes, especially the younger generation, and they say, but I can do it for $1,000 Namibian. And then I'm like, but you're undercutting the industry, and you're taking food from my plate as well as your plate.
I appreciate so much that you mentioned that now,
Yeah.
because I don't think people always understand what their actions bring.
Yes.
It's you're messing. You can actually say you're kind of messing with the creative industry economy.
Yes, and I'm a very people know I fight for those type of things, you know, because for 10 years that I've, you know, we try to build an industry that's regulated, rates that's regulated. So this is what you can charge for this type of thing. And then when this happens, it's like we're back to the bottom, you know, we're back where we started. So I don't know how we're going to change that in the Namibian industry, because unfortunately I cannot produce a music video for $1,000 Namibian.
No, of course not.
Does not make sense.
No.
To anyone.
Unless you shoot for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, with one camera.
With one camera.
One angle.
No, but there was a question I had regarding that now. Do you, because you said the landscape is changing a bit. Yeah. It is, there are more productions happening now.
Yes.
Do we, like in Hollywood, they have so many different production companies that handle these kind of things.
Yes.
What about here in Namibia?
Once again, very interesting. I did a international job 2 weeks ago for a German channel. But they shoot on their cell phones, you know. So it was a combination of the reporter, basically, with my, you know, my big sensor camera, and her shooting on her cell phone, her 4K cell phone, you know. So it's just, I think it's, once again, it's the balance of it and how you combine the different mediums, you know. But very interesting times, very interesting times. I think it all depends, you know. Some people require, I've done a lot of international shoots the past few weeks. Some people still just require big sensor cameras, you know. So it depends on what the requirement is. But I also think that we, especially in these times, you have to be flexible. You know, you have to look after your clients because everyone is in the same position. It may differ.
Yeah.
So everyone should just basically accommodate everyone's needs at this stage. You know, you can't be unreasonable with your costing, you know. Yeah, so you have to keep your clients, you have to be ethical about it. And just, yeah, we have to help each other now, you know. I think this is also what this time has taught us, you know. You can't go it alone. You have to have respect, and you have to, I've sensed, work with your gut a bit more, you know, work with people's energies. Also very important, what I've found is you have to work with people that's on the same wavelength.
Yeah, no, I totally understand,
you know,
that.
To create quality products. You can, I've worked on productions that you can sense it in your final product, you know, if there's a bit of a clashing or whatever. So I think that's very important.
Yeah, same wavelength, very little ego.
Yeah, no.
Ego on a production set can cause a lot of trouble.
Yes.
Okay, Lila, I'm going to ask you a couple of quick questions. So it's just yes or no answers, or one-liners, or a couple of things. So, what are you currently consuming on the internet?
I almost said like cat videos, but it's everywhere. I don't really know. I'm not on the internet a lot. You know, I don't do, what is the, maybe I'm too old-fashioned for it.
Okay, how about YouTube?
TikTok videos. YouTube, more Netflix.
Okay.
Netflix, documentaries, Showmax, more that type of thing than YouTube.
Okay, do you watch it just to relax, or do you actually watch it for...
No, to relax, when I get the time to relax, you know, maybe on Sundays.
That's actually very interesting, because that goes to my next question. How many hours a day do you work?
It all depends, you know. If you shoot and you edit, then it's long through the night days. But let's say a standard day is 10 hours, and then maybe another
Standard day.
yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and then maybe another 10 hours editing at night. So it all depends. I mean, you know.
Okay, so you get very little sleep. How many hours of sleep do you get?
Yes, normally between 6 and 8 I try.
Okay.
Yeah, I try.
That's your benchmark, but more around 6-ish if
Yeah,
we're being
more
realistic.
about around 6.
Okay, cool. Are you on Instagram Reels?
No,
Not.
no,
Do you watch Instagram Reels?
not really.
Okay.
Yeah,
How much time do you spend on Instagram messaging, direct messaging?
not a lot.
Not a lot at all.
No.
Okay. What's your favorite app?
My favorite app,
Yeah.
WhatsApp.
That's cool. Okay, who's your favorite director?
I would like to say Stanley Kubrick.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, okay, what's your favorite film?
You will not believe this. Dirty Dancing.
Really?
Yes, I know. I watched that like 40 times and I know all the words. You don't want to watch it with me.
So nobody puts baby in the corner.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. This is my dance space. This is your dance space.
Beautiful. Okay, LinkedIn, overrated or underrated?
Overrated.
I was about to say, I think I found your LinkedIn page.
Yeah, I think I have not been on there since 2010, I think.
Okay, yeah,
I don't even know that I have a page.
You have one. I found
great.
it. I think it's yours. There's no picture.
Yeah.
What's your motto or your philosophy?
You miss 100% of the chances you didn't take. So I think you just have to do everything, even if it scares the living daylights out of you. It's the only way you grow. It's the only way you push yourself. Can be very scary, but, you know, just do it.
That's how you grow as well.
Yes.
Very awesome. I like that. What would be your dream project?
I'm channeling it as we speak. So what I would love to do is to travel, you know, when we can travel again. And I prefer shooting more than editing. So I would just like to travel and shoot. Yeah.
Like travel
Documentaries,
videography. Oh, okay.
documentaries more, you know, to tell the stories that's relevant. I think that would be great.
I think after this whole fiasco is over, I think there will be some really interesting stories to tell. Yeah. What do you want to ask or say? Anything, either to us or the people out there.
What is the meaning of life?
42.
And also, what will actually break the internet? Like finally break the internet?
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think
we...
Manny likes that too. One sentence you would tell your younger self.
One sentence. Don't be so hard on yourself. Yeah, and just breathe. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think I already asked you about your favorite app. Do you follow Sessions podcast?
I do follow you on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're now we have Spotify in Namibia now, if I'm correct.
Cool.
Manfred? Yeah, okay, cool.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so if it's just the audio there.
Okay, awesome.
What's your favorite drink?
Beer.
Beer.
I'm
Okay.
Namibian, Yaku. Namibian. How?
So a good old Namibian beer.
Yeah, ice cold.
Okay, that same question. Do you make use of lefa?
Of course. I'm responsible, you know.
I like that.
Yeah.
Anyone you would suggest for sessions?
I think I would suggest any entrepreneur, the smaller guys out there that's really, really hustling. But if I can think of someone that I really look up to, is the clothing brand Lex and Ludwig. They launched at Fashion Week last year.
Okay.
Pretty cool brand. I think it would be great if you guys can chat to them.
Awesome stuff. We'll give them a shout. So Lila, what are you passionate about outside of your career out of your constant hustle?
I'm very passionate about my family, my nephews especially. I think it's very important, especially in our careers, also to have that balance, because you can get so occupied with your work and the hours that you work, because it's not normal hours. So I think really that keeps me grounded, and it's very important to me, it's my family.
But on that, do you think there is an actual balance one can achieve? Because our line of work is borderline insane.
Yeah, no, I think we are all insane, no jokes. And I think if we weren't insane, we would not be able to make it.
I agree with that.
So no, I don't really think it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you somehow manage. You're happy with your...
Yes. I mean, that's also the luxury of it, you work for yourself, you work your own hours. So as you know, some months it's just go, 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 but then you got time again off, until you're waiting for the next job. Mm-hmm. So I think it's an amazing place for me to be in, It's worth it.
Yeah, because it's no single day is the same.
No, not one.
Your biggest lesson you've learned? I know we talked a bit about them, but is there one thing that stands out in particular? Biggest failure, biggest lesson?
I think these two things are so intertwined, mm-hmm. Because without failure, you can't have your lessons. And I mean, failure, I think, is combined with success. Mm-hmm. So I think my biggest lesson that I've learned now, if I speak from where I came from until where I am now, is just to value yourself, and to stick to your guns, and to really create a niche market for yourself, to never skimp on quality. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people, I call them fly-by-nights, and it's so easily you can become like, you fear that type of competition. But also to not have a scarcity mentality. I think that's also very prevalent in Namibia, mm-hmm. There's enough work for everyone.
That's true, yeah.
I think if everyone can just work together, and there's enough, be nice to each other, be kind.
You're also not one of those people that hoard all the work. If you can't handle it, you refer.
Refer people, share it. That's the only way we're going to grow as an industry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good outlook.
Yes.
Still on the lessons learned, is there anything that ever happened on set?
Yeah.
On a production where you thought like, okay, I am going to work so hard for this never to happen again?
Yeah, the old, like, out of focus things, bad sound things. It happens, and then you have to be big enough to go to your client and say, the only way I'm going to rectify this is to shoot it again on my own cost, So I think that's the gist of it.
You bite the bullet.
Yes, you just have to find a way to work around the things.
But I like that. It's accountability. It's taking responsibility. Yes. And that's also the only way you grow at the end.
Yeah, because we do work with finicky things, We do work with sound, and we do work with visual. So it's not... It's difficult.
Yeah. There's... Every single production, there will always be something.
I always say, daar was altyd ietsie.
Okay, and your inspirations. Who are you currently following? I mean, you said what inspired you actually to go to film school was your gap here, and you realized that's something what you want to do. Who are you currently now following?
Yeah, it's a tricky thing. I don't think there's one specific person I'm following. I mean, I follow a lot of people on Instagram that I find interesting. Not just filmmakers. I follow photographers. I follow like creative people. So I think what we also now have, which is very cool, is access to all. You can actually DM someone, that you never had access to. I don't know if they're going to reply, but you can collaborate with people, So I don't necessarily follow someone specifically. Yeah.
Okay. Any new business ventures that you're currently into? I know you said if the borders open, you're going to go travel.
Yeah.
Or that's the dream, at least.
Yes.
But any new things that you're currently working on? A new production maybe coming up? Something big?
I think what I would like to do, and it's happening, I would like to work more with international people, you know, just to spread my wings a bit. I have my, you know, my normal clients, but I would like to, do international work. And I think what the COVID situation also actually helped with this, you know, people can't just fly to Namibia. And that's like, they look for people to shoot and you just send them the drive or the footage or whatever. So I think that is a very cool place to be in, you know.
Have you gotten a request like that?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And the request came from?
Referrals.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was from someone overseas somewhere?
Yeah. I just shot a ad for ad agency in the UK, you know, and that was just also a referral. So
that's spectacular.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's exciting.
Yeah,
you know?
It's an awesome world we live in that you can do that.
Yes, puts a lot of pressure on you because now you have to, you know, perform at your peak because you're also now a window of the Namibian film industry and the professionals, you know, to show people we actually can also do the job.
I like that.
Yeah.
And it leaves open the opportunity for future endeavors as well.
Yeah.
No, that's spectacular.
Yeah.
Now, I think most people have this holy shit moment, you know, because I think in our industry there's a ton of them, but is there one single one that stands out?
I thought about this question. I don't think, for me, not so much in the industry in my work. I think my biggest holy shit moment of my life was when I went to India and I walked out of the airport and I was like, holy shit. Because you can't believe what you see and experience in India. So I think that was just like for me, and I traveled India for a month by train, and everywhere it's just holy shit moments because it's so diverse, it's so extreme. It's just, I don't think India is from this planet.
So it's a different world.
Yeah.
But I mean, because you worked on big movie sets now. You got to meet Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Wasn't that like a cool holy shit moment? Because is he as crazy as the media makes him out to be?
Yeah, he's... I mean, I have to be very diplomatic now, but he's a very interesting character, you know. So he wasn't very approachable.
Okay.
I think that's also where I've worked with amazing people that worked on Avatar. I mean, that did Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. And these people are the people that made the most impact on me, are the most humble people, you know. They've done like thousands of amazing productions and they're just so humble.
I like that, yeah.
So it's important to, you know, just stay humble.
Yeah, stay grounded, stay cool.
Yeah.
You've done some awesome shit, but I like the fact that you're so chilled about it. That's the cool thing.
Yeah.
And your single scariest moment in your career? I mean, it's quite daunting to do, especially considering that you have to do like 60-70% of the work on a production.
Yeah.
What is your single scariest moment?
I think I can say moments, and it's not changed throughout my career, is when you've done your shooting and you have to produce, either edit it or you just have to send the footage to your client, you know. It's just like, is everything okay? Is everything in focus? Is the sound okay? So that, and then I had it the other day again, and I become so nervous, and so like, I have to like calm myself down. But I think that's also important to have, you know, so that you you stay focused on your job, and it's important for you to deliver quality production. So I think that's for me every time. It's not changed. From the smallest thing, production to the so it's just like that nervousness.
A production can be nerve-wracking.
Yes.
And I think very few people understand it because the responsibility, everything lies with you. So I completely get what you're talking about.
I mean, and there's times that I'm shooting with 2 cameras and a slider and a GoPro and a gimbal at once, you know.
And sound as well.
And sound as well. So it's like the one-man band, you know, so guys with the...
Yes.
It feels like that sometimes, and it's a lot because your brain works on different level with that. You have to focus on your visual and you have to focus on your audio. It's pretty interesting.
No, but it's like you said, you have to be kind of insane to do this.
You have to
do the job of several people at the same time. Okay, Lila, and your last question. Is there anything, a last piece of advice you would like to give the people out there? People who might want to go into this industry, the amount of work that needs to go into it and the sacrifice, what is it that you would like to tell the people?
On a serious note, I think you have to be very passionate about it. You really want to do it, and you have to be in it for the long run, you know. Not so serious level, I would say, don't take life so seriously, you know. We're not getting out of here alive. So, just enjoy it, have fun with it, you know. For young, upcoming people that want to get into the industry is, I think, you have to, what I would do, if I could do it again, or what I did, is identify a professional in the industry, okay? Work with them, even if you have to work for free, you know, get that experience, learn as much as you can so that you are actually better than that person when you get out of there, you know, so that be passionate about the industry, be passionate about the country, and like I said, there's enough work for everyone, you know. Let's all work together and create work for each other, because that's a ripple effect, you know. What you give, you get back.
And help to build this industry a bit more.
Yeah.
But I really like what you say about even if you have to do it for free, because that's all part of the grind.
Yes. Yeah.
And what you can learn from someone like that is priceless, because you carry that with you for life.
Yes, you're going to pay your bills with that knowledge, you know. So see it in that light. Enjoy life, guys.
Awesome stuff. Lila, thank you so much for joining us on the show. And I'm hoping we get the opportunity to actually do a production together.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm like keen.
Yes, go through that heavy anxiety together and then enjoy a good old Namibian beer afterwards.
Yes. Thank you, Jaco. It was such a pleasure to be here. I really enjoyed it. And keep on doing the good work, you as well.
Thank you. So guys, that was another episode of Sessions, and just check the links down below. We're going to post everything about Lila Swanepoel. It's going to be her Facebook pages, her Instagram page. She does have a YouTube channel. I found it as well. I won't post a LinkedIn page. So thanks guys, and see you in the next episode.